Hey everyone, we know that spring is right around the corner, and while we're all excited about the warmer temperatures, we also have to be cautious about the wild weather that comes with spring. So today I am joined by meteorologist Tom Schmidt, who's going to help me prepare a severe weather preparedness kit. Sounds simple enough, right?
I think so, yes.
And they're very important. So Tom, explain to me, why these kits are so important to have made up before disaster strikes, before severe weather.
All right, so you want to have these things done in advance of a storm because during a storm it can get kind of hectic, right? You're running around, you're trying to collect the kids, get the dog ready to go, find your shoes, all kinds of stuff. So you just want to have something already in place. You can just grab it and go as quick as you can.
Okay, so kind of walk me through, because like you were saying, grab the kids, grab the dog, grab your shoes, grab a sweatshirt. There are so many things racing through your mind when that notification like tornado warning, tornado alert goes off.
Yeah, time to go.
So
right.
What should we have? What are some essential items we should have in this weather preparedness kit?
Well, so I'd say first and foremost, you would probably want to have water, okay? And it could be a case of water, and those are pretty cheap, $2, $3 for a case of water, that's all it is.
Yeah.
You want to have that. You probably also want to have a light, like we have here. This one's real fancy, nice and big, some kind of flashlight other than your phone, because you don't want to use up that battery too quickly. We've got phone chargers, of course, always important. A portable charger,
yes,
probably be a good one to have, just
yep,
in case you do lose power. You want to have a way to have a backup battery for phone charging just in case.
I need to get that as well. Okay.
And then you also want to have first aid in mind. It's Band-Aids, bandages. We have, of course, hand sanitizer here. That's fine, just to keep things clean. Any kind of topical ointment like a Neosporin to fight infection is probably pretty important as well. Snack food. I mean, this is a box of just little protein bars. Yeah.
Yeah, I chose peanut butter, some garbanzo beans, and some protein because that just when you're trying to fill yourself up and sustain hunger or sustain like your appetite for longer, I think protein is a great way to do that.
Yeah, probably so. And it's just a little heavier. And you never know how long it's going to last for. You can go home and and find your house is gone and or something, and all you have left is this kit. So
yeah,
it's just good to have something on hand.
Also, can opener. Don't forget that. You can have the can. If you don't have the opener, you're gonna be fighting with it.
Not gonna make a difference. Exactly right. You want to have that can opener.
Okay, and then this final thing.
Yes.
What is this fancy?
This is the weather radio, and so these are pretty important to have too because everybody has a phone, these days, and communication's pretty well organized nowadays. But in these disaster zones, tornadoes or wind can damage those cell service towers.
Yes.
And so you can be in a disaster zone with no cell service or no ways to get those communication messages in.
That reminds me of the Joplin tornado, years ago, but everything was just completely taken down. So there was no cell service. So like you were saying, this kind of radio, battery operated, extra batteries, also a must-have in your kit as well.
Yes, this thing is battery run. It also, you can also plug it into the wall and charge it, but of course in this kind of scenario you're taking it with you, have batteries on hand. It'll get you the alerts you need to know and keep you updated on the weather should things, communications get lost.
Yeah, and finally, of course, a bag to store it all in. That's going to be of the utmost importance.
Yes.
There's other things that I read as well, like a rain poncho, stuff like that. You can definitely do that, but I think these essentials are essential.
These probably you could bring like closed-toed shoes. You could have an extra pair of socks in there. I mean, maybe some toiletries.
Yeah.
Toothbrush, deodorant, that kind of thing if you wanted to. Whatever you want.
And I'm wondering, and this could be a very silly question to ask, but where should this kit that is pre-made ahead of time, where should it live? Where should it live?
Somewhere easy for you to access. So if you have a storm shelter, and let's say it's in the garage, then this bag needs to be by the garage door.
Okay.
Or somewhere in the garage. You can actually keep it in your shelter too if you wanted to. If it's a hallway closet, keep this bag in the hallway closet. If it's going to a friend's house and you have to go out the front door to get to your friend's house for shelter, your neighbor's house, put it by the front door.
Okay, that's very good to know. And finally, and just from your, meteorological, there we go.
I struggle too.
Your perspective, how can having this kit extend kind of your lifeline in worst case scenarios when disaster does strike and maybe completely wipes out your town? Well,
it's just helpful to have. You want to have everything you need with you as best you can. And because, you always have these disaster response teams, and folks right here in the Ozarks are very friendly, very generous in these disaster zones. But, you know, if you can provide for yourself and let them handle maybe some bigger, more important tasks, emergency responders, it just makes it a little easier if you kind of have your own resources. They don't have to pay as much attention to you, and they can instead focus on maybe some other things. And who knows, it may be a long time. There's been cases where if you're in a tornado, let's say you're underground, your house collapses. You're okay, but you're underground, under the rubble. You don't know how long you're going to be there for. So it's just good to have provisions for maybe a couple hours at least.
Couple hours at least.
Yes.
That's awesome. Tom, thank you so much for all the information. You guys, these kits are very easy to assemble and very affordable to assemble as well. So make sure you have your severe weather or disaster preparedness kit ready for any time of the day. Make sure it's in a place you can grab it easily and go and take shelter. And you just never know when disaster strikes, so be prepared before it does.